Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you're not a subscriber, you just say hi. You can put other people's emotes. You can remain silent. You got options. Lashbrook is here, or no, Lashbrook I know is here. Hasn't put any messages in yet. Lashbrook, there's Lashbrook's throwing some emotes in, and also Harold. Hello, Harold. Hello, Lashbrook. Welcome, friends. Happy to have you here. Yeah, this is a Monday night, and it's model kit building night. We have done the chest and most of the head. We just got to put the crown on of our Gundam Perfect Strike Freedom, which is the Perfect Strike and the Strike Freedom kits kind of meshed together. It's mostly the Strike Freedom with like the perfect weapons and some accessories. It's a very bulky name that I don't think is good, but I understand. I also, in the grand scheme of the Battle Log series, which is this is from, I feel like it is very lazy to be like, I just put together like 2 strikes. That's my creative output. That's my kit bashing. It's like, okay. We're waiting right now to see if a few more friends want to join us. Maybe we'll get a few more friends in tonight. We'll hang out here. We're going to work on this model kit. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. Tonight's conversations will include me talking about Crypto Land. Because it is crypto, but it's also a dumb thing besides being crypto dumb. It's also dumb for a different reason. Maybe talking about Take-Two buying Zynga and why that feels like an announcement from 10 years ago. But first, there we go. Lord Crashington just subscribed. That's 30 months saying, hey, Pat, hope everything is going well and that you're having a good 2022 so far. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Lord Crashington. Of course, also, get the applause there. The applause. Thank you for subscribing. Also, Lord Crashington wants me to hit that ska button. I will hit that ska button for you, Lord Crashington. Ska music is coming. Let's hear the horns first before There's a little bit of horns. This is definitely not recorded by a band. This was recorded by a person. But yes, yeah, throw those emotes in there. Yeah, ska anniversary, indeed. 30 months, the big 3-0. Thank you very much for your continued support, Lord Crashington. And welcome everybody to the old Build with Baer. So Crypto Land, Take-Two buying Zynga, and how that feels like something for 2012. AGDQ 2022. What I've watched, what I'm looking forward to watching soon. The Forgotten City and Halo in Games Chat. And maybe, speaking of Halo, I don't know if I've ever on this stream talked about my connection with a certain voice actor from the world of Halo. Maybe I have mentioned it, but I will mention it again tonight. We used to talk about Zynga a lot on my old podcast, 2009, 2014. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like 10 years ago, 2012, feels like a great time to be talking about Zynga. But apparently, they still make a lot of money in the mobile space. Apparently. And Take-Two apparently needs to make more money than they are making. I mean, every company wants to make more money than they're currently making, but they seem like they really want to make more money than they're currently making. The fact that, I guess we'll talk about it now because there's not a lot to say. The fact that Zynga is still worth billions is surprising to me, but I'm also out of the loop on those things. Aristophan is here. Hello, Aristophan. Oh, I got something in my eye, so let me try to get that out of my eye. Did I get that out of my eye? I don't know. Most big mobile companies probably make more than you expect. Yeah, Lord Crashing, I mean, that's definitely true. Oh, jeez. Sorry. A rare, no glasses, Pat Baer, as he attempts to clean out whatever is in his eye that is bothering the fuck out of him. But yeah, I'm sure there are companies that are making bank that I've never even considered that they're incredibly profitable. All right, let's see what's going on here. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna retweet my tweet. Let's get into building a model kit. Because everything is bad out there, but building model kits is pretty cool. So let's go to the old overhead. Booyah. There we are. We are currently at 47 out of 50 subscribers. We'd love to hit 50 tonight. Will we? I don't know, but I would like to. If you would like to subscribe, gift a sub, convert your gift subscription to a regular subscription. You got options, various ways. We're going to build the rest of this head here. We need a couple C pieces and an F piece, and then we'll get going on that. Before I start getting like angry slash also laughing maniacally at the nonsense of Kuroitsu and all of that, because we're going to talk about the island. We've got to talk about the island. Let's just start with something fun. Also, because like I expect there'll be a few more people joining us tonight, but like they don't get to hear this shit. They're coming late. They don't get the good stuff. They get like me being angry and maybe funny while I'm being angry, but they don't necessarily get. Jam is here. What's up, Jam? Happy to have you here. They don't always necessarily get me talking about some silly stuff or some fun stuff. So here it is. I'm going to tell you about a man named Jeff Steitzer. You may have never heard the name Jeff Steitzer before. He's an actor. He's been in a bunch of stuff. Been television, in some movies, done some character work. Most recently, it was on a TV show about like some millennials and an old man. He played the old man that were trying to save like a rental store. But to a certain population in this world, he is a well-known name. But maybe voice more than a name, to be fair. Because Jeff Steitzer is the voice of Halo multiplayer. If you have gotten, if you've ever heard a man say Slayer, that's not a good impression of his voice. That's Jeff Steitzer. Jeff Steitzer has done it, the voice in all Halo multiplayer. Every Halo multiplayer. He has been in all of them. Oh, okay. There it is. Great. As the voice. You're saying, well, Pat, look, I didn't know Jeff's name, Mr. Steitzer. I didn't know his name, but like, why are you talking about him? And to explain that, we have to go back quite a few years. This would be 2008, I want to say, probably. 2009, perhaps. At the time, I'm at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater, which I was working at. I had a weekend manager shift. I eventually would become a manager there, like part-time, and worked a lot. But at the time, I was only there as a manager occasionally. But I had tech shifts as well, just picking up some extra money. And so I'm there. I'm doing my thing, working there, doing whatever needs to get done. And I'm talking to some people. We're talking about some video games, as it were. And, you know, just chatting, just having a good time, saying what's up. And there's a fairly new intern there. And her name is Caitlin. And we've chatted a couple times, but I don't know her super well. And she goes, oh, I didn't know you liked video games. And I'm like, yeah, I play a bunch of games, mostly PC stuff. But, you know, I play a few console games here and there. Because I had been talking about how I used to have Halo days. There was one day a week back in the Halo and then Halo 2 days, before everyone just started playing from home, where we would go to our friend Terry's place and play Halo. And it was the fucking best. We would order Thai food and hang out, and it was cool as hell. And so then Caitlin goes, okay. And she's very quiet for a little bit. And then later, when it's just the two of us in the office, it's towards the end of the shift, she goes, so, my dad is in Halo. And I go, is your dad Master Chief? And she goes, no, he's the multiplayer voice guy. So my friend Kate, and at that time intern of mine, Caitlin Stizer, her dad uh, is Jeff, and I have met him on one occasion. He came to the theater to see a show that she was doing. She did a lot of stuff around town, but occasionally did stuff at UCB. Um, and I knew that he was coming, and so I came out of my way. Look, did I want to see Caitlin and her thing? Sure. In the show she was doing, sure I did. But more than that, want to shake hands with the multiplayer voice from Halo? You bet your ass I did. I wanted to meet Jeff, and I met Jeff, and he was great, and it was a very brief interaction. And I will say this, folks, you know this to be true, because I have talked about it on stream. Because when cool shit happened to me in those days, I would, I'm happy to talk about them. I have had the privilege of meeting incredible people, um, stars of comedy, celebrities, people that you would see on the street and go, wait, what? No one has ever been more of a cool moment for my friends who don't give a shit about my life and comedy than when I told them that I met the guy that says big team skirmish. Uh, they've never been more impressed than they were in that moment. I'm going to use some liquid cement here because this little piece keeps falling out and it's so tiny. I am very afraid that that I will lose it. So give me a second. I keep the liquid cement on the table, but I keep it far away because of the fumes and because I don't want to accidentally knock it over. So all we're going to do here is we are just going to dab this part here with a little bit of liquid cement. A little dab will do us. And then we will place it where it needs to go. Pop it in. And then we will just press and put some pressure on there. We're just putting enough pressure on there to make contact because the liquid cement is melting a little layer of plastic on each piece of plastic here, just a layer, and then fusing them together but once it is done melting. So we are just doing that right now, and then I will put this again out of my way so I don't accidentally knock it over. And that should not fall out. It should hold its place, and the actual crown might pop out, but that little piece will not. So that's my little story about meeting. The one time I met, my favorite voice actor story. Like I have met, I have met more well-known by name voice actors. Like Sam Riegel did stuff at UCB when I first got there. Sam and I are on friendly terms. Sam is in Critical Role and has been the voice in many, many things that you know. He was the original voice of Tristan, but then he couldn't make it to LA one day and they recast him. But Tristan from Yu-Gi-Oh! But he does a bunch of voices in there. He's been Donatello. To this group of people watching me, you may know Sam best as the voice of Teddy from Persona 4. That is who you may know him best as. But he has done quite a bunch of stuff. And of course, like now, I knew them before they were voice actors, but like Ben Schwartz is the voice of Sonic and has been in a bunch of other things, of course. But like that's a thing that people fucking know him from, and DuckTales and all that. Bobby Moynihan is in DuckTales and We Bare Bears, like a bunch of things that you're like, oh yeah. I've known a bunch of people that have had a lot of roles. My buddy Billy is the voice of the guy that owns the fries stand in why is my brain is just escaping me. Steven Universe. Also from Steven Universe, my buddy Eugene is the mailman that loves someone that he's never spoken to, so he's pretty fucking problematic. But yeah, like over the years, a lot of people I know have gone on to do cool voice shit, but still, they're not the fucking announcer from Halo. They're not the multiplayer announcer in Halo. That shit fucking rules. All right, let's see here. What else can we do? We're building part of the. Hey, this shoulder piece that we're building has a machine gun on it. This is a machine gun part that I'm going to put on this. That's a weird choice. This kit, because it is a kit bash style kit, has very weird weapons that are all like different colors, and I kind of love that. I love this, like, yeah, we got like this green shoulder mounted, you know, like machine gun, and then it's got like an assault rifle that's green and another like a gun sword that's blue. Like, it's got a lot going on, and I appreciate that. Then I need E1 28. I don't know, like I said, it's just got a lot going on here. I think that's cool. Okay, what else can we talk about tonight? All right. Hey, let's talk about crypto land. Let's just fucking get into it. I think it's time to talk about crypto land. There is a nice write-up on Motherboard by Edward Onguiso, that I am sourcing here, so you should check that out. Basically, there was a kind of like, some dumbasses are trying to make an island for crypto people. They're trying to buy a private island in that I believe it's a Fijian island, and they want to make it like a crypto utopia thing. And then somebody, a software engineer, basically like put up their pitch video, which is all animated and terrible, and just basically like tore it apart and broke down how silly it is, right? And it was very fun. That was over the weekend. Hey, Ghost Valve just subscribed with Prime. That's 8 months, saying woo. Thank you so much. Let's do the old applause. Yeah. Let's throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote in chat. Thank you very much, Ghost Valve, for keeping your sub going, using your Twitch Prime token. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see. I don't know if it's going to update to 48 or not, but we'll wait and see. Because sometimes it will, because like the renewal happened and then it already registered that you hadn't, or sometimes it won't because it didn't drop down to 46 before you renewed. So we'll just give it a little time. I'll check. Anyway, okay, so what are they up to? Well, basically they were like, first off, they're getting dunked on by people. And here's the thing, right? They're not just getting dunked on by people that are like, this is a terrible video, you're this is foolish, also you're into crypto, so like what are you, like, come on, what are we doing here? People like that are speaking out and saying like, this is very silly, you're very foolish about this. But also people who are into crypto are like, this is embarrassing. Some people are on board, other people are not. But the first thing they did was they went after Molly White, the software engineer that kind of like went viral, like talking about this. First thing they're doing is threatening her with a legal letter that they clearly wrote themselves. They did not have a lawyer write this up. This was clearly a written by them thing where they were just like, hey, you know, take this as liable and take this down, blah, blah, blah. So they're like going for that. And of course, she posted that letter because that's what you do when you get a dumb piece of mail like that. You just be like, sure. Yeah. Reminds me of the Satoshi cruise ship idiocy. Yeah. Ghost Valve, it does remind me of that as well. Anyway, they're like, hey, this is dumb. So they're like, hey, we're not impersonating a lawyer. This is like standard practice. And people are like, no, it's not. Anyway, so here's the thing, right? Another thing happened where they tried to walk this back. And I don't know, like, there's no funny way to describe this, but basically, somebody was asking them about the age of consent on the island. And according to them, the person that responded to this question was going under the guidance of, or the assumption that they were talking about, like, how old do you have to be to come to this island? Like, that kind of thing, right? So, because they responded, mental maturity should be enough. So if you take it in the best of circumstances, they assume that age of consent means, like, do you need a legal guardian if you're 16? And they're like laughing about that. That's if you want to take the best case. What most people took it as saying, hey, the age of consent for sexual activities is, hey, as long as you're mature. So that got a lot of people to being like, what the fuck? So they were like, no, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Oh, I did not give them that much credit. Indeed, Lashbrook, I did not either. They basically said, one of the people on our staff, like, doesn't get it. They're not native English speaker. And it's like, okay, sure. Let's see. And then also, hey, let's talk about how the other, no, obviously there are people who are mad because this is foolish and a waste of time. There are also people who are mad because they have made the assertion that this animated video has a lot of stolen assets. There are people who are just like, I made this. This is mine. You copied this directly from me. To which they, of course, have responded, we didn't steal anything. All the art was stuff we paid for or procured by our artist. Is this, I guess, to maybe imply that the people that they paid had stolen assets and not them, or full-fledged animation. There's a shot, yeah, and also that there's like bad photoshops involved and stuff like that. Let's see. They're like, no, we didn't steal anything. Here's the one I want to say. So you may remember a certain scam, Ponzi scheme. I mean, all of them are, but you may remember BitConnect. You may remember BitConnect, and it was definitely a scam and a Ponzi scheme, and everybody lost a lot of money. Of course, the person behind that, Carlos Matos, does not believe that it was a scam, of course. But also, he's not sold on this particular island because they want to have, like, the video features a casino and a memorial, which is a weird thing to do. But basically, like, they want to have like this little space in there dedicated to Carlos, to which he is like threatening to sue them because they have not contacted him or own his likeness. And of course, he has a terrible response of, I will definitely look more into this and bring these dudes to bring this dudes to justice. They may want to get in contact with me before they hear from me. The favorite part of this is, and you were like, well, Pat, what's happening on the Discord? Because everything good happens on the Discord, because that's the place that they have actual control over their message, right? Is the Discord, because it's their thing and they can be as foolish as they want on the Discord. And you will not be disappointed in this information. So basically, over on that Discord, they're blocking people if you are labeled as spreading FUD. That's FUD. They do not want any FUD in the Discord. Now, what is that? What is FUD? Well, that's criticism. That I mean, by our definition, FUD is criticism that is considered negative. And their thing, that is, FUD stands for F, fear, U, uncertainty, D, doubt. AKA, they also refer to something as people spreading bullshit. So basically, it is them, any criticism of what they're doing, even if it is couched in like, hey, I'm actually like really interested in this project, but like I'm worried about these things, like actual concern from losers and nonsense people who shouldn't be giving them anything, including the benefit of the doubt. But whatever. these fine folks, yeah, they are banned from their Discord. Um, Bad Gunpowder's rating with a party of 23. Welcome, Raiders. Welcome, everybody. Am I getting this piece on right? I don't think I am. Let's see. While I try to get this right, we'll welcome the Raiders. Welcome, everybody. It is a raid. Welcome. Yeah, we got a Bad Gunpowder raid. Hello. Um, let's see. I'm going to read a quote. Look, we were talking about the crypto island thing, which short version, some crypto people want to have an island, like a crypto paradise island, and they made a very bad animated pitch for it that was getting dunked on a lot, and then they're very sad and mad that people are dunking on them. But if you go to their Discord, if you suspect someone is spreading FUD, which is again fear, uncertainty, doubt, or negativity, please report it to any member of the team, and we will handle it from there. Which means that you get blocked from their Discord. And don't bring up old tweets that they deleted, because that'll get you blocked too. Yeah, Lord Crashington. So it's also not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's not like so bad it's good. It's mostly just bad. But like you could watch it. I don't know. Anyway, hi everybody. You were also talking about crypto. I mean, here's the thing, right? It's just there's a lot of it. Look, I'll say this. We'll go to this. I'm going to introduce myself in a minute. I'll get this in here. Hello. I think that blockchain technology as a digital footprint, as a receipt, is interesting technology, and I think there are applications for that. I don't think that the things that are being said right now as the like reasons why blockchain stuff is a good idea and non-fungible tokens is a good idea, none of that stuff seems appealing to me in the moment, because these are all things that can just be done via database. And then when you get into crypto, it is clearly and certainly also non-fungible tokens. At this point, it is just clearly scams. They're just scams. They're not anything besides that yet. Is there cryptocurrency that is not out to be scams, that are out to be some like decentralization? Sure, I'm sure there are. Are there good people in NFTs? I mean, maybe. But like it's all a mess. It's all a fucking mess. Yes, exactly. You got an email from someone that wanted to get my channel into an NFT grift. Yeah. There's no Baer coin. I'm Pat Baer, by the way, if you came in on the raid. Yeah, it's all bad. Even if you are cool with the environmental impact of NFTs, because we live in a fucking society and we are terrible to the environment no matter what you do. Even if you are totally cool with that, it's just a scam, and you don't have enough money to make more money in that scam. If you wanted to make a lot of money in NFTs, you had to do that a few years ago. We're already at the point where you don't get to make any money, because the pyramids are high enough that you are getting in on the ground level. You're not getting in the middle or the top. Believe me, I was inadvertently, without my knowledge, and I fucked up part of a pyramid scheme in my day. It wasn't a cult, it was a pyramid scheme. We were accused of both. We were a pyramid scheme. I didn't make any fucking money because I wasn't high enough on the chain to make money. I wasn't towards the top. I was also not fully aware. I had health insurance for a while, so it was all right. But anyway, yeah, it's just a lot of stuff, right? So, I was in the improv comedy / alt comedy pyramid scheme. That pyramid scheme has taken many forms, many different groups. The theaters will not claim to be a pyramid scheme, but they are. So here's the basic premise of that. Let's get back into doing some model kits. I'm Pat Baer. I build model kits. I'm happy you're all here. Good to see you. I will have a great stream. Thank you for the raid, and welcome everybody. And hello. My name is Pat Baer. I am a model kit builder, and I play video games on Wednesday, but I mostly do this. Okay, let's see here. Oh, okay, I'll prove that. Yes. Yes. John makes a point that you gotta know when things are cool or gonna do something in technologies. If porn is like, yeah, we got you, we get it, and porn is like, nah, porn, porn, and sex workers want you to get into the direct to model. They want the support. They want the, well, we make this content, you give me a little bit of money, you get this extra content. The Patreon, OnlyFans, Fansly model. That's the model they want. I am sure that there are people in the porn industry that will take Bitcoin, but most of them are like, I'm not going to NFT photos. Instead, I want you to pay a subscription to get those photos. And hopefully you won't figure out a way to download those photos. So you have to keep the subscription going if you want to see these things. I'm not going to get too much into porn, but yes, I agree with that statement. Let's do some panel lining on this while I talk a little bit about how I was involved in a pyramid scheme. So now things are different because they learned their lesson from HD DVD. Things are different now in the alt comedy world because the theaters can't really be open, but there was a decline before that as well. So we'll do a little bit of history here, right? You want this kid so bad. Yeah, the perfect strike freedom is a perfect strike and a strike freedom mashed together. As far as kit bashing goes, for Battlelog, it's not the most inventive one, but I do like it. It's got some good style to it. And I do like that it's just a mismatch of like colors of weapons. This is like, this is blue and this is green, and and these things are red. Throw them on there. I do enjoy that. Anyway, so let's go back, right? For a long time, nobody knew how to get onto SNL, right? Nobody knew how to get into the world of comedy, how to get on television, how to get like meetings for comedy. Nobody knew how to do that. And this was like in 2002, 2003, right? People like didn't quite figure that out. They didn't know. And then people started hearing about how Amy Poehler, SNL's Amy Poehler, had a comedy theater. And like, if you were on the website for Upright Citizens Brigade, you could have your name on the performer page and your photo and your resume if you did shows there. And so like casting directors in New York were like, oh, we can just go to this website and cast people there. We can see a look. We can go to these performance nights and see people and we'll give them a shot. And then Rob Riggle got on SNL. He was the first student of UCB to get on SNL. There had been people that had been associated with it that had done it, sure. But he was the first person that was like, didn't do comedy before he got to UCB, did UCB, got SNL. And there were other people that done big things and had various other things, like John Ross Bowie, who is a comedian in Los Angeles, has done a bunch of shows. He had a bunch of work. There were a bunch of people that kind of sprouted out. Andy Daly, who later would do Review and many other really good things and is like the best podcast guest for alt comedy, had got late era Mad TV. He was a UCB person as well. So there were people that kind of sprouting out. And not only were there comedy people, like people that loved comedy their whole life, comedy nerds, that were like, I'm going to New York, I'm going to study at UCB, or later I'm going to study at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in LA, and I'm going to learn improv there. There were other people who started to pick up, hey, having UCB as a credit, being on the performer page gets you in the door. People think that's good training. Like, as an actor, it makes sense. Like, one of the dudes from the fucking movie and TV show Catfish, like, the Catfish movie hadn't come out yet, and he was a student. It's one of the ones that sucks, because there's one that really sucks, and there's a couple guys that seem okay. But the guy that sucks took classes. Like, it became a thing where if you wanted to get in there, or let's say you were a TV presenter from Weird Means, because you're like a model or something, and you're like, oh shit, they want me to be more lively on camera. What do? Take an improv class. Being the manager one night because I was a tech person and a manager at UCB in New York for many years. There was one day, like one of the the judge, from like oh shit, which food competition show was Padma host of? Top Chef host Padma took some classes, did a graduation show, and that was very weird. It was very strange to see her. I had a friend in her class, and he said it was very weird because she was like very chill and very nice, but also like the lady who eats food and has opinions from Top Chef. It was very strange. Anyway, my point is, it became a thing that you do. And you're like, well, Pat, that sounds cool. Like you take some classes, maybe you study some comedy stuff. You take some classes, maybe you get on a team. You probably give up after a while, and then maybe like you make it and you do some stuff, and then you mention mention them later, right? Well, the thing is, that's not sustainable as a business. Theaters that offer low cost tickets don't make money. The theater part doesn't make money. The classes make money. And that's the pyramid scheme, because you can't be on a house team that does the house style, the Herald. You may have heard of it, maybe you haven't. For a long time in my life, I assumed more people knew about the dumb comedy shit I know about. I don't assume that anymore. It's a long form style of improv UCB was known for. Well, you can't be on Herald night and do the Herald unless you hit a certain level in the classes, and then you can audition to be on a team. And if you didn't get on the team then, well, after a while, you have to make sure that you've taken a class within a year. You can't just like take all the classes and then like a year later come back and audition again, or 6 months later. You got to stay up on the classes. And also, to keep the pyramid going, well, you want to study outside of, right? You want to study outside of being on being auditioning for a team, right? You're taking classes. Well, that's 3 hours a week. You outside of that, you want to like rehearse. Well, who should be your coaches? Well, people who are on the house teams, because you see them on stage, and they don't get money for doing the shows. They don't make any money doing it. They don't have to pay to put up the shows. They don't have to pay for the house. They don't have to pay for the tech person. They get the space, and the space is maintained. They don't have to worry about that. They don't have to. None of them have to be a fire guard or anything. But they don't get paid to do the shows. So you want to hire them from a coach, because also eventually those coaches are going to be the ones who decide who are on teams. And they all did the same shit you did. Now, there are exceptions to that, but you're not brilliant. You're not Jack McBrayer. So you don't get to go be brilliant in Chicago, show up in New York, get placed on a team. You don't get that. You got to work hard. You got to pay your dues. You got to be in a bunch of things. You got to spend a lot of money. And then when you're on that team, it doesn't mean anything, because it doesn't mean you're going to get auditions. Now, it did at one point. At one point, people were getting cast from just being on that page. But really, that's not going to get you meetings with management or meetings with agents in agencies. It's not going to get you any of that. It's going to give you a lot of time on stage. It also means that some people will want to sleep with you if you are also comedy hot. There were a few people coming in and out of UCB that were legitimately incredibly attractive, but there were many people who were just very confident and somewhat comedy attractive. Like I always said, and those people did pretty well for themselves. But there are people out there who were, maybe you're going to become a coach. Well, now you're a teacher. Now you teach at the theater, and you earn a living that way, which allows you to audition. It allows you to get out there and maybe make a little bit more money. But for this thing to exist the way it does, it had two important things had to keep happening. One, nobody gets paid to perform, because they don't make enough money in the theater to pay people. They'd have to charge way more. And two, way more people have to want to take classes than there is stage time. And that, look, some of that stuff did change. There were people who came in and that were like brilliant, that did a lot of stuff, that did not have to they got stage time without taking a lot of classes. There was a very influential comedy group that was not influential at the time. They were hot at the time. There were young people in NYU called the Wicked Wicked Hammercats. They had a show that they sold out venue stuff in at NYU. They brought that show. Some of them did take classes. Some of them did hang out, but most of them just like came in, got their stage time, had a weekly show, did a bunch of other things, hung around, and then went off and did their own thing. The most famous person from the Wicked Wicked Hammercats is Donald Glover. Donald Glover was on the Wicked Wicked Hammercats. Had a fantastic sketch that he wrote, that he performed, that was brilliant. And for 2000 and I don't know, 7, 8 was like unbelievable. 2007 probably unbelievable. Where it was basically Peter Pan, but Donald was Peter Pan, and the kids didn't want to go with him because they had that kind of like didn't want to. They felt awkward about it because Peter was black now. And it's an incredibly great sketch, and like one of those like ballsy sketches that you're just like, holy shit, these are people in their early 20s, like really killing it. But yeah, he did a bunch of stuff with Hammercats, and then Derek, which was his 3-person comedy group that came out of that. But like there were people that came up that had no problems, and then there were a lot of people that I remember because they were nice or funny or brilliant, but you'll never hear of because they came in, they took a bunch of classes, they didn't get on a team, they felt awful about that and felt like not getting on a team meant that they weren't funny or good, and then they disappeared. And maybe they would spout up, they would like go to another comedy theater. Also, the other big comedy theaters in New York and then also Los Angeles are running similar things. Some of them found other ways, like touring, the touring company. The touring company, on paper, should be the way for people to make money doing improv, because you're going out and you're doing these shows, right? You're on this company, you're doing shows on the weekends, and maybe you're going to go like a week-long tour, and you're making all this money, and it's good money. But here's the thing, the same hierarchy happens. Well, you can't just audition to be on there. You have to take their classes and do their style and do that for a long period of time. And then eventually you get enough, experience, you can audition to be on that. And then also, because it's not run properly, every touring company doesn't make enough money. Their overhead is too high, and they're run by people that don't know how to run a business. That's the other thing about it, is that no comedy theater is really successful unless they're incredibly small, because they don't know how to run a business. Because the people who are involved in it aren't business people. They're not theater people. They're comedy people, and they might be really nice or really talented or really cool, but they're not good at running businesses. I say all this with like, it's now the 3-year anniversary. Yesterday was the 3-year anniversary of me finding out that I was getting laid off from the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater. And it hit me very hard. Between being a theater tech, the head theater tech, the weekend manager, and then the head theater tech again, I worked there for almost 16 years. It was a big part of my identity and my life in New York. I am grateful for my time there. I am grateful for the opportunities that came from being around and being in front of, working with, and incredible people. I would not be doing the shows I do at the Penny Arcade Expo, the panels I do, if I had not had a show at UCB that I then pitched to do at PAX and was given an incredible opportunity to do that, and then met really great people, which sustained me doing it. If I had not struggled on stage figuring out what it meant to be a presenter and what it meant to be a producer for many, many years at UCB, and allowed to fail in front of sometimes only a few people and sometimes a lot of people, I would not have been ready, willing, and able to do what I do at conventions. So I am grateful. I have met some of the best people I've ever known in my life because of UCB. So I'm grateful for that. But also, they took a lot of years of my life, and I did not get nowhere near the amount of money I deserved for the amount of work I did, because those kinds of businesses work on good vibes. Um, uh, we talked about on stream a while ago, Woodworm Gaming, uh, Wormwood, not Woodworm, Wormwood. I said their name wrong. Wormwood Gaming, and how watching their worm life. Thanks for sharing. This has been absolutely fascinating. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Um, um, Wormwood has a YouTube presence, and they have a documentary style behind the scenes video series they produce themselves that's trying to be like that kind of TV, right? It's trying to do several things. It's trying to get you interested in their products, sneak peeks, understand their products, and then also kind of make stars out of the people who are on there. And almost every time that the CEO, former, and then still maybe CEO, Doug, opens his mouth, it just reminds me of my years at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater. Like, you know, this is a mangled quote because I don't remember exact words, but he has said to the effect of, you know, we could get HR, or we could give everybody $3 more a year, or like a paycheck or something to that effect. Like, we could get HR. We could make all these changes. We could be OSHA compliant and have health care and do all these other things. Or people could get more money. And it's like, yikes, dude. But that is very clearly a company that like is cool, except if like the people that make the woodworkers that literally make that company any dollars they have, the artists, the people that work very hard, if those people decide to unionize, then Wormwood would just shut down instead of like there's no way they would exist as a company. There's just no way. There's no way they would they would voluntarily recognize a union. Like I get the vibes. That guy is definitely. But we're a family. Yes. Yes, Slashbrook, because we're a family. That is. And like, look, is this dude a shitty dude? I don't know. I don't think so. I do think that he is like, I personally think that Wormwood, from the messages that these people put out, their own statements, their own style, their own presentation, the ones that they are crafting themselves, this very much feels like a company. Ooh, thank you, Jimmy, for the follow. Jimmy, appreciate that. It very much, that feels like a company that grew way too fast. Oh, and also, Channel, thank you, Channel, thank you for the follow as well. It feels very much like a company that is like grew way too fast and shouldn't be as big of a company as they are, because they clearly can't, like, they grew too much, right? Like, Doug, the CEO who quit, and they filmed him quitting, who made this big announcement about quitting. I should point out, and I've said this before because it's incredible, he quit because there were people, like there was a anonymous, or not anonymous, there was a survey sent out, and so among employees about like if they thought he was like a good boss, doing like if he like cared about them and looked out for them, if they thought this was a good working environment. And there were employees, like a certain amount, a low amount, that put their name to it, and that was enough for him to go, look, you want these changes, I don't want to make those changes, so I shouldn't be CEO. And it's like, fuck, dude, yeah, you shouldn't be CEO if like the idea that people were unhappy with you is enough to make you run away. Medium, large business. Yes, transitions usually have stuff like that. Yes, Ghost Valve. Like they, you know, this is a company that bought out another company because they were growing so fast and demand was so high. So they like tripled their employees, right? And it's just like, I mean, besides the health violation stuff, and they're like not the you know, and part of the reason this thing that caused him to quit was said was because like They weren't social distancing at work. They weren't enforcing mask mandates. They were getting lax because, people had been vaccinated at that point, so they were being lax and whatever. And it was like very clear that they weren't taking shit seriously, beyond the fact that they had equipment that people were working on that they weren't trained to work on. It was a lot of stuff. Um, watching that, like, I understand why some people are watch those videos. They're like, "Ooh, check out these cool dice towers that they got these people prototyping these cool things and they're making this cool shit and look at all this, look at these modular tables," and like, and maybe you can watch it for like what happens when people fuck up, and there's like good discussions of hey, we can't get this felt in the US because they want $30 a yard and we can get it from China for like $1 a yard. I'm making up the numbers, but it is a dramatic thing. And, and that's why we're doing this from there. But then you have like the felt comes from China and a lot of it is cut wrong, because of course it is. So it's this thing of like, there's something to be learned from watching these, but I don't know why they make it the way they do, because it makes me hate watching them, because I watched a bunch of them because I was fascinated by it. But it made a bunch of them seem like complete out of touch assholes. Like, the guy I'm supposed to like the most is also the guy that was like, I don't understand why it was a problem and why everyone's yelling at us that we had like a t-shirt design contest. And it's like, yeah, I know you want to get your community involved, but if you're like, design a t-shirt for us and if we use it, we'll pay you money, is that shit sucks and everyone already knows that shit sucks. Like, no, you're Wormwood. You made like $5 million on a Kickstarter and then you did another Kickstarter. Pay artists that you like to make things. Like, don't what? And that was the guy that I was supposed to think was the one who like got it and understood stuff. And it's like, oh, no, it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't. Holy shit. Oh, Wormwood. But anyway, watching those in that, like, yeah, and like what you said before, like that kind of like we're a family vibe is that thing, right? Like, oh, well, this is part, like, I wasn't an employee at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater. I was part of the comedy community. And that is true. And one of the cool things about the improv sketch world is that we're not as shitty as like the stand-up world in terms of like being a vindictive asshole. Like there are assholes and jerks in comedy, in all forms of comedy. But like for the most part, it wasn't like as vindictive as other comedy scenes. And there were certain advantages. Like, look, I have done very cool things because people knew how dependable I was for many, many years, right? Like, I've talked about this, people that watch the streams know, I got a very small but very cool bit in one episode of Broad City because I was in the web series of Broad City, because I was somebody that Alana and Abby knew and liked because I'd been around. I text some of their shows. We chatted a bit. There was a live show where I was supposed to be Santa Claus for them, and then they canceled the live show, so I didn't get to be Santa Claus. And then they were like, "Hey, we're shooting another episode of the web series. You should come be in it." And then when they got around to, they were trying to get a lot of people that had been in the web series, who had worked for free, to come be in the show. And I had lines, and it was fun. I got to be a Whole Foods employee, while Abby is like on medication and having a freak out. From dental surgery, which is very fun. I'm just like playing it real straight and real easy and like wearing a flannel shirt, which is weird for me, which I always liked. I was like, cool. They're like, do you have a flannel shirt you can bring? And I was like, no, I don't. I did not own one at the time. They got me one. And it was like, that's like, did I pull it off? Did I do a good job? Did I know my lines? Did I banter a little bit and have fun with it? Yeah, I got to do all that shit. But also, it was because they knew who I was. And that's like, that was the big part of the UCB scene that like I do stand by and was cool. This was a place at the time where if you were a good person, people wanted to work with you. if you were talented and a good person, you had to be incredibly good. You had to be incredibly brilliant to be an asshole. And there were assholes in the scene, but those assholes were unbelievably smart and good at what they did to get away with being an asshole. Because, like, if no one's making any money, nobody wants to work with a jerk. They'd rather work with someone who's, even if they're less funny, but, like, not a jerk. Because it's like, oh, you know, in some instances, this costs us money to get this stuff done. I'm not going to worry about, I'm not going to go to rehearsal with someone who sucks. They could be, you know, maybe not always the funniest, but if they're, like, fun to hang out with, that's way more important. The last company I worked for, the CEO actually said, "Welcome to the family," hugged me, and then made me redundant 2 years later, despite me bringing in a lot of new regular customers and being responsible for their uptick in positive Google reviews. Yeah, because here's the thing, right? Some of us have bad families. I'm very lucky. I don't have a bad family. But when people say, like, welcome to the family, they got to understand that some families suck ass. So even if your company is a family, your business is a family, that doesn't mean it's good. Some families are dysfunctional and don't work well. And you can love a person without liking the person. And it's always funny to me when people are like, no, we're a family around here. And it's like, are you a good family? Looks like my career switch happening now. Great. That's awesome. Anyway, it's been 3 years since I got laid off from that job, and it fucked me up. And I had a lot tied. A lot of my who I am was unfortunately tied up in that job, and it shouldn't have been. And I really fucked up by letting it get that far. But luckily, yes. But luckily, I figured some of that stuff out. Now, it didn't help that it took me a while to get back on my feet, and part of me getting back on my feet completely faded away when all of the jobs in New York, all the theater jobs in New York, shut down, which is why I'm here in South Carolina, hanging out and doing a lot of stuff on the internet, including this, which I'm happy to do, but it's also not... I was streaming when I lived in New York, and I enjoyed it very much, but that was like a thing that was like a way for me to like keep in touch with the people that like only saw me at conventions because they didn't get to see me like live doing stuff in New York, and was like a fun thing, and like trying to get back to model kit building because I missed model kit building. Instead of like, hey, this is the time where I can talk at people. And yeah, now we're all in video prison. Yes, and John. But also, like, this is a way for me to communicate with the outside world from people that are not my parents or the people that I have Zoom chats with. Occasionally, bosses, although the stuff I do online these days is almost exclusively Slack conversations or Discord conversations. I don't have a lot of like face-to-face chats with coworkers or bosses on the various stuff that the various jobs I do for whatever. Yeah, I don't get a lot of face-to-face. So this has been increasingly and consistently a lifesaver for my own, for like me just like being able to talk to people and like having conversations about things I want to have conversations about. Getting a little performance in, you know, that kind of stuff. It's nice. Helps a lot. Anyway, I'm going to finish this part of the shoulder after we take our pause for the cause. We're going to do that right now because we got some people here tonight, which is great. We had a nice raid from Bad Gunpla, which was great. Oh, thank you. Nathan Lander. Oh, no, sorry. Nat Highlander. I thought it said Nathan, but it says Nat Highlander. Well, there can be only one Nat. That's you. All right, let's go to the intro screen here. Hi, I'm Pat Baer. We're going to talk about some other stuff in a minute or two, but right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break. I do this every stream. It's a few minutes. It's just a few minutes here where I am just going to pitch myself because I do not have sponsors for any of this stuff here. I don't have anything like that. So I am my own person here doing my own thing on the internet, and part of that is on Twitch. In the middle of every stream, I talk about ways you can support the channel if you're so inclined. Uh, Doing like Nat did and giving a follow would be great. You're under no obligation to do any of the things I'm about to talk about here. Again, it'll take like 5 minutes, and then we'll get back to building, and we're going to talk about some video games and some manga and some anime. But right now, I'm going to talk to you about how you could subscribe to the channel. And if you're currently a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, to the Scythe emote in the chat. Let the people know that you are a subscriber. You got these cool emotes. The Scythe emote is a tier 2 emote. Everything else is the first tier. And yeah, subscribing is an easy way to support what I do. Cash money or your Prime Gaming token. You could give somebody a subscription. We're currently at 47 out of 50. The goal is to hit 50. What happens at 50? I breathe a little easier because I know that means that I'm going to get a payout that month. So that's nice. But yeah, gifting a sub using your Prime Gaming token. Bits and coins always appreciated. If you've been gifted a sub, you can convert that to a regular subscription, and they won't charge you until your gift sub month is over, which is cool. But yeah, that is an easy way to support what I do here. Again, all these things are optional. I have other ways to support me here as well, because you know, you got to do more than just that. I got a Patreon. Patreon.com/PatBear. There's a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier there, so you get different rewards for the different tiers. And that is another way to support what I do here. I've been doing that long enough that I can do the $1. They don't let you start with the $1 anymore. But yeah, I do that. So yeah, there are different tiers there. You can jump in there if that's something you'd like to do. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, that would be great. I put videos up there all the time. Every Wednesday, I have a YouTube video. I'll talk more about that in a minute. Every other Monday, I put up a series, and then I put up occasional other things there. And there's also memberships there. You could join that. You could be a member, and you get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. That's the least I could do. Let's see. Other things. Oh, if monthly doesn't work for you, but you're like, I could throw you a buck or two, I got a couple ways to do that over here. And all this is in the show description on the YouTube video if you're watching this later, and here in chat right now. Direct donations from Coffee or PayPal. Everything I make through direct donations, through Patreon, through YouTube, and through Twitch goes into a fund. I take money out of that fund. I buy model kits. I've got a bunch of kits. I've got, like, some of those boxes there are kits that I have built. Some of those boxes there are kits that I haven't built yet, including the stuff over there and the Lego set there. I haven't built those things yet. And I will build them on stream, and those things cost money. And I'm happy to take all of the money that comes in and buy more model kits so that I keep buying model kits. Now, I have a backlog, but this kit right here that I'm working on right now was bought off my Amazon wish list, and it jumped the queue. So thank you to Michael who bought this kit. Because they bought that kit, I was able to say, like, no, can't work on this other stuff. I got that Xeon, not going to work on that yet. I got to work on this Perfect Strike Freedom. Because it was purchased off the wish list. Yeah, if you buy something on my wish list, it jumps the queue. I also shoot a separate video about how you bought the thing. I've got Lego sets on there. I've got model kits, expensive kits, inexpensive kits. Hey, the Gundam Seat Destiny Dagger L is still in pre-order. That dropped in price. That's cool. So that's fun. I don't usually put pre-orders on there. I put that on there. But yeah, kits that are like, hey, why is that so goddamn expensive? And then others that I'm like, oh, that's a steal. Nice. All kinds of different things. Some equipment at the bottom in case you're like, I don't know what kit to buy you, Pat, but I'll buy you tweezers that generally jewelers buy because they're going to be really great locked tweezers. Sure, I'll spend $7 on tweezers for you, Pat. You'll use those on stream, and I would use a lot of those. Anyway, you whether yes. That Dagger L looks really cool, and it's up for pre-order right now. Thing with Amazon pre-orders, they don't charge you until the kit it goes actually for sale. Which, if you're like, Pat, I would love to give you to buy something for you for $20-something in the future, you could do that. Yes, I've looked at that kit. It looks really good. I haven't pre-ordered myself. I probably will spend way too much money after the fact. Although, since it's now a decent enough price on Amazon, I might just pre-order it myself, and we'll see. Anyway, besides that, if you're like, Pat, I do not want to buy you something on Amazon. I would, but not Amazon. I got you. Here's an alternative. The best I can do as an alternative. Go to USA Gundam store. They sell gift cards. You could buy a gift card there. They send you an email with the code. No physical card. They send you an email with it. Then you take that code, copy it, paste it, send me a DM because my DMs are open, or a whisper on Twitch here with the code. I'll use that code to buy something from USA Gundam store. You could make a suggestion, or you could just leave it up to me and I would buy something. That is an option for you if you are like, I don't want to pre-order from Amazon or buy something from Amazon, but I want to support. Again, these are all options. None of these are things that are necessary. None of these things you got to do. If you want to do something for free, you can join my Discord. It's a nice little Discord. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. People plug the stuff they're doing that is building or just like general. Like, you know, there's a plug section for if you're a streamer, you can put your contact info in there and people can check you out. Nice little way to support people that way. A couple of video links for you to check out, and then we'll get back to building. Pat Baer's Anime Club is an ongoing video series I do every other Monday. This latest Pat Baer's Anime Club is me talking about the fall anime season that just ended, and then previewing the winter season, which just started like this week, technically last week, whatever. So if you want to check that out, if you're like interested in finding out what's going on in the world of anime, you can check that out. Another video you can watch is Do You Remembaer? This is a new series that I started. It's going to be every Wednesday, an episode of Do You Remembaer? The premise is I take a look at a Wikipedia article or some other article from the internet that interests me. I read it, and then I turn the camera on, and then I try to tell you about that article as best I can using the information that I have learned from reading that article very fast. I don't reference it ever again. It's just whatever I can remember, I then, kind of regurgitate. I will try to be entertaining, or at the very least, edutaining. That's the goal, is some edutainment. So check out Do You Remembaer? I just started doing it. I got one episode done, and then next week on Wednesday, I will have a second episode. And I think it's pretty okay. All right, we're going to talk about some manga and some anime. Technically, what I'm about to talk about is a manhwa. It's a South Korean comic, but you know when I say manga, look, sometimes I'll talk about a Chinese animation, and I say it's anime. It isn't. I know. But we're going to talk about some manga here, and we'll go back to... I'm going to drink a little water, and then we'll get back to building, so... Dramatic transition. All right, let's get this assembled, and then I'll do some panel lining on it, on the shoulder piece, and then we'll keep going. So, we're going to talk about The Great Mage returns after 4,000 years, which is an action manhwa. So it's it's a South Korean comic. It is in many ways. I gotta get to bed. It's 3 a.m. here in England. Oh, all right, awesome. Well, that is late. So have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. Okay, so this manhwa. Let me just first see where this goes. Okay, this goes in here. I'm gonna have to dip. It's 3:15 in the morning, and I'm tired. Have a good stream. Okay, well there you go. We got 2 3 a.m.ers out there. Nice. Well, you know, that's very cool. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Okay, so The Great Mage returns after 4,000 years. Is it your standard kind of style of a, reincarnation? We in fact live together. Well, there you go. So it is bedtime for Nat and Jat. I know it's not. Well, I hope you both have a good night. And that's rad. I'm glad that you have something that you can share together, which is watching people stream model kit building and talking about whatever. That's cool. Anyway, for everybody else, I'll tell you about this manga. So, we got our main characters here. We got our dude. He's the greatest mage of all time. He's so strong. He's trying to save the world. He's trying to save the dimension. He's doing all he can. He's looking to fight injustice and all this other stuff. Use the great things he has. He's fighting this demonic energy out there. Turns out that this demonic energy is a demigod and wants the world to run a certain way, and humans don't want that. But he gets punished. Our mage guy gets punished. Can't defeat this god. Doesn't work out. And he's like stuck for 4,000 years. He's a 50-year-old man, but he is stuck for 4,000 years in torment in this like dark abyss. And then, for unknown reasons, this like loser, the third son that was banished, this like the worst person at the academy, who has like a good heart, but it is horrifying. Here's the thing, it is horrifying, but like with all these stories, they don't dwell on it that much. They like get to the thing. There's some of this is horrifying indeed. This person, this lowly person, who has literally said, "Is it a crime to be weak?" Because he is. He just doesn't like. He's got a good heart. He just doesn't have skills. Anyway, this guy decides he's going to end it all, and for whatever reason, cosmically, links himself with our main dude, the best mage in the world. And that guy escapes his prison and now has taken over the body of Frey, the guy that ended his life, this sad guy. And so there's a couple things, right? Our dude, now calling himself Frey, he's got to beat that evil god. He's got to get his powers back. He's got to level up. He's in a body that has good potential, but like has a lot of impurities in it. He's got to like strengthen up. He's got to do all this stuff, right? He's got to get strong. He's got to, find the secrets, some stuff so he can power up and go for it and get to where he needs to get to. He also thinks like, you know what? Also, probably gonna get a little modicum of revenge for this dude. I'm in this guy's body. I've got his memories. I know his sadnesses. So like, yeah, the guy that like picked on him and treated him horribly and bullied him, I'm gonna bust up his vocal cords so that he can't say that he can't surrender in this fight. I'm gonna bust his legs up. And he even realizes like all these like toughs, the other toughs at this academy are all trying to like test their mettle and like get revenge and like put him in his place. And he's just like, "Ugh, I'm fighting children, and none of them are strong enough to like." He's like, "I'm so bored with using magic missile." There is a very funny line where numerous people are announcing who they are and what noble family they're from, and he goes, "I'm magic missile," and shoots a magic missile at them, knocking them out. And it is very fucking funny. He just cuts people off. He just doesn't care. And he's just like, mostly just like it. So you get your overpowered main character fantasy thing, right? Because he's very strong. He is definitely strong enough to take out the teachers at this school and whatever. He does run into, look, there's over 100 chapters of this. I have read, where did I leave off? I literally have it bookmarked, so I can tell you. I'm on chapter 42. I have been reading, because I was reading this over the weekend. It moves fast. The manhwa, the thing with manhwa is almost all of them are in full color, but they are not like that dense usually. Some of them are very dense, but most of them are not that dense. So, and they come out like weekly. Anyway, so, what's it called again? Oh, no problem. This is called The Great Mage Returns After 4,000 Years. Great Mage Returns After 4,000 Years. Is there a girl involved? Yes. Is she interested in our dude? Yes. Is he interested in her? No. Because in his head, even though he has lived for 4,000 years, he is still a 50-year-old man, and so he is interested in older ladies than his age, like a teacher he ran into. And when he has a friend, he actually makes a friend with somebody, and that guy is like, "Yeah, I'm engaged to be married," and he's like, "Does she have an older sister?" not a younger sister or a sister, an older sister specifically, because he is attempting to date age appropriate women to how old he feels inside. And there is some humor in this, which I do appreciate. Um, he also is like trying to be romantic and like doesn't understand that people are like this girl that hangs out with him. Uh, yes, I am as well. Um, the girl that hangs out with him that eventually becomes kind of like his partner, his crew member in a way. Like he just like does not understand what's going on. There's another girl that like at one point that starts like is clearly very into him, and he has like definitely no concept of what's up. He's just like, why are you what's going on? Why are you following me? Like I also love that he is very clueless about who is into him, and it's not annoying. I think it is fun. Um, are there people that boast very loudly about being awesome and then they immediately get owned? Yes, it is. It is that kind of story. Don't worry, it is that kind of story as well. Um, and yeah, I mean, so his major goal is I'm gonna fuck up this demigod. I'm gonna get my powers back and do all that. So there's some training, but I don't think it's too much. There are flashbacks which I think are good of like exploring this character and all of that. Yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with it so far. I mean, I'm gonna keep. I've read 42 chapters and I'm probably gonna keep reading it. Um, oh, I forgot one thing that I really like about it. One of the things that really stood out to me as being a fun moment is, uh, he's just so happy to eat because he hasn't eaten food in 4,000 years. So everyone's just like, how can you eat all this? It's like, look, when you're starved, you don't mind, you don't care what it is. Like he eats someone, they're like, those were terrible. He was just like, those were very good sausages. You got to try those sausages. They're really good. They're like definitely not good. But he is so happy to be eating any kind of food. And I like that. I think that is very fun because there are plenty of like, I have been gone for 1,000 years or I was tormented for 500 years and now I'm back. And they rarely talk about how fucked up you would be if that happened. I forget I forget which manhwa. Oh, it's Druid. It's the Druid one. Druid is the name. I can't remember the exact full title, but uh, that guy is like he lived on Earth, then he ended up in the a fantasy world, and now he's back on Earth, and he's like he hung out with wolves for like 1,000 years. So he's like, yeah, it's gonna take me a little while to adjust. I lived with wolves. I don't know what YouTube is. Like there's a moment in that one, in the Druid one, where they're like, I'm a YouTuber. And he's like, what are you talking about? I don't know what that is. Because he left during that. Because he's been gone for 10 years. But for him it was 1,000. So he's just like, I don't know what we're talking about here. Um I don't know. I like that when it's just like the realization, because some of these characters that go through these extraordinary things are fine, and I'm like, I mean, you could be fine, but I think it is way more interesting if you are not, if you are like trying to figure it out. Uh, this dude is trying to figure that out. He knows a lot about what happened 4,000 years ago, but technology advanced a lot, and he is pretty clueless about the advancements in technology. So that is a thing that I find fun, where he's just like, wait, what's happening? All right, so this wants to bend like this. That bends like that. That all the way down? Does it need to go more? No, it doesn't want to go anymore. Okay. All right, I think I did this right. We'll find out. As always with anything, I already did it once, and so I'm like, oh, I think I know how to do this, but sometimes I don't. Anyway, let's talk about some anime. These are going to be brief overviews. These are new shows. Both these came out on Saturday. Both of them are available on Crunchyroll. It's been a while since I said this on stream, and we do have some new friends with us tonight, so I should say this. I've said earlier that I am not sponsored by anyone, but at the current time, I have a gifted premium account to Crunchyroll. I had a friend for many years who worked for Crunchyroll in their marketing and their their convention circuit, who has now no longer works there. So eventually, this is going to end, which is fine. My free whatever, but I do have a free premium account. There has never been any kind of like, hey, make sure you say nice things about the shows or anything like that. I have been certainly critical of shows that they have there, including their originals, because sometimes those originals are awful, like the worst anime of 2021, X Arm, which you should not watch. It is bad. But anyway, it was unbelievably bad. Uh, so yeah, but I should say this. If you want to take it with a grain of salt when I talk about stuff on Crunchyroll, I don't pay for that premium account. I take advantage of it. Anyway, My Dress Up Darling, first episode, pretty fucking cute. You know, sad in spots because it needs to be sad, because it needs to set up basically like bad enough that Mother's Basement couldn't even find anything amusing about it. Yeah. I mean, so before we get into My Dress Up Darling, I will chat about X-Arm. X-Arm is excruciatingly terrible. I mean, look, I think Mother's Basement could find some stuff to talk about there because there's a lot going on. It's animation done by a studio that's never done animation before. They've only done special effects. They've done like cutscenes for video games, and they've done like the director of it. This was his first animated work or any work outside of stunt choreography and fight choreography. The writers worked on the source material. They took the source material from the comics, so the writing is the best part of it, and the writing isn't good because the source material is fine, but not good. They use a lot of they blend CGI and digital, but not like in some. If you watch some anime, it's all digital, and then like another studio does the monsters, right? Oh, there's a dragon showing up. The dragon's gonna be CGI, or like, look, we got this like carriage is gonna go through there. It'd be hard to animate it the way we want to in the time we have, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna do this upright like that kind of thing, right? This one is just like the main character is CGI. But the brother is only in this one episode, so we're going to make that brother 2D. And there's literally a photograph in one shot of the two of them together, and one is a CGI model, and the other is a, like, digital model. And it's just like, oh, no, you can't do that. You can't do this. A lot of the characters, some of the characters are androids, and so the choice was to have them have zero emotion. Even when they have personalities, they don't have any emotion. A lot of still images. X-Arm is one of the worst things I've ever seen. I watched 3 episodes of it, and then I watched the last episode, and it's Crunchyroll original, so they had to promote it somewhat, and it was the trailer. Here's how little they cared about this piece. The trailer was just the opening animation. It's just the opening with a little bit of extra text. They didn't do a trailer with scenes from the show. The trailer is just the OP. Oof, it is bad. The closing animation is a still shot that they move around the camera and zoom in and out on. That's the ending. The ED is just a still image that they moved around in After Effects. It's really tough. The best ever in their self-promo. Yes. Yes, they did include that. Yes. Yes, they talked it up somehow. 3 episodes is a lot to commit for such an ugly dumpster fire. Yeah. So here's the thing, right? The first episode, I was like, this is incredibly terrible. And then I was like, I got to watch the second episode. And the second episode, I was like, oh, there's something going on here. And then the third episode, they started introducing heavy thoughts that they can't back up. They started talking about the rights of AI and robots, and you're like, this could be done if done well, this could be very interesting and engaging. It was not handled well. because they couldn't handle it well. So I was just like, oh no, we're done here. You can't. If you start equating the AI rights with the civil rights movement, like you got to be good. You got to do a good job with that, and they didn't. So I was like, I'm out. But anyway, that's one of the worst shows I've ever seen, and it's incredibly terrible and very good in how terrible it is, but not worth your time, really. Because there are fun bad shows, and that's not a fun one. But maybe watch like the first episode because you can, watch it with ads on Crunchyroll for free at this point. Yeah, it's got a little Detroit Become Human in it that it's trying to say something. And I've heard okay things about the manga. I can't tell you if the manga is good or not because I'm not going to read it. But I have heard okay things about it. Anyway, let's talk about something I did like, which is the first episode of My Dress Up Darling, which is about a guy that does. He's a boy that likes to make dolls, not just play with dolls, make dolls. And he's like doing that for his whole life. And as you might guess, kids were not awesome about that. They were not supportive and great about that. They were, in fact, cruel about that. And he has felt very isolated and alone. I don't have the names of the main characters written down here. I'm sorry. I will learn their names. At this point, I do not remember them, so I have to apologize for that. I will do my due diligence and learn their names for a future stream. But anyway, he meets a girl, a very popular girl, an outgoing girl, beautiful girl. And for the first time in his life, someone compliments the work that he's done. And hey, especially in high school, it doesn't take a lot to it doesn't take much to really mess with a person for a long time, but it also doesn't always take a lot to really make someone's day. Anyway, she's outgoing and maybe kind of doesn't quite understand she's a little more free-spirited than he would like. She also wants to be a cosplayer, but she doesn't have the talent to pull it off. Not the costumes, making the costumes. And so, looks like we're going to get an unlikely partnership, which might turn into an unlikely friendship, which might turn into an unlikely relationship. Could be. It's a romantic high school comedy. I feel like there will be some more sad moments. Again, the first episode does have some sad moments. I feel like more are coming here and there as they grow and change and maybe, stop hanging out with one another or something gets pulled in different directions. I don't know where the story's going, but I liked it. I think it's fun. I would recommend it. First episode, as I said, came out this weekend. And I think it's worth your time. I think there's something about it that hit me, and I'm like, okay, I'm interested. I'm engaged. We'll panel line this up. We're almost done with this arm here, and then we'll move on to whatever's next. I don't know what else is next here, but we got to do panel line here. We're using brown here on the on our red because that's what I like to do for that, and then we'll hit this light blue here with black, and then we'll clean up all our lines. And the other anime that I want to talk to y'all about is Heather's hey, Harold saying good night. I'll catch you later. Yes, Harold, thanks for hanging out. You stayed up a little later than you often do, and I appreciate you being here. Have a good one. Thanks for being here, buddy. Let's see. The other one is the Monster Development Department. It's Kuroitsu. Yes, Miss Kuroitsu from the Monster Development Department. I love this premise. I didn't love the first episode. So the premise is hey, look, how do you get monsters made, right? It's a company. It's a business. There is research and development. You got to pitch your creations. You got to go for the board. You got to design stuff and put behind it. It is awesome. It is like the officification, it's not a word, of this, right? We saw, was 2 years ago, Heaven Design Team. Maybe it was last year. I don't remember. Time is messed up for me. But a Heaven Design Team took that as God created the heaven and the earth and then created all the monsters, or all the animals, in that case, Yeah, I don't have to get up as early as I do tomorrow. Nice. Uh, but there is yeah. So there are these. Yeah, I'm glad you can stay later too, Harold. But have a good night. I'll talk to you soon, friend. Um, having design team, it was these people working in an office setting and design animals that God wants to be designed. That was the plot of this. And this one, it is, hey, how do these monsters get made? Well, it's people, and they pitch them. Um, I hope that the setup allows that they got the setup out of the way, and then it can just be like working on monsters, and like I'll start liking more of the characters when we get to know them. Right now, it left me kind of like blah, and I want to like it a lot more than I did. I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's a pilot. That's why you give things more than one episode, but it didn't compel me. I thought it was like kind of fun. I think the best part was when she was just like clearly spitballing, and they're like, "Look, you have the passion for this, but you don't have the budget for what you want to do," which I liked. Yeah, it was messy, but like I said, it could be good, and I'm gonna give it another episode because I think like if it can get into its rhythm, I do. Like I said, I really do like the premise of okay, yeah, the people that make monsters are in an office environment, but the execution of that. Oops, this came off here. I did not love. All right, you know what I'm gonna do? I got it here. I got a little liquid cement. I'm just going to uh, dab this here with a little bit. I already used it for a little bit on here. That way our crown's not going to pop off. I'm done panel lining this. I'm done with the stickers. So I'm just doing a little bit of liquid cement and then place it where it needs to be. And then we're just going to hold here. This liquid cement is, of course, meant for doing model kits that require glue, or obviously in this case, cement. We're doing car kits, that kind of thing. Rarely do we do kits like that on the stream, but we do occasionally. This is also a good fix for, well, I don't need this, like, I don't need to use blue tack here because, like, the joint is loose, because that's what the blue tack is for. This is great for, like, hey, this piece just doesn't sit right, or, oops, I actually, like, cut this out a little bad on the sprue, all right, or, like, this is just, these components really need to set better. And since I won't be taking these apart, it's okay to do that. All right, that should not fall off there. Again, we got these really weird mismatch of weapons and styles here. We got like the green on this side, and we've got the blue on this side, and then we've got a blue and a green gun that go on opposite, hands. Really weird mismatch of things. We got the like pincher claw shoulder on one arm, and the like machine gun arm. Yeah, it is. It's a little funky. You're not wrong. It's got a funky look to it. You're not wrong at all. All right, we've assembled that, and now we jump down to the feet. This is a very traditional kit. This was so both of these kits, both the perfect gray, or not perfect, both the perfect strike and the strike freedom that we're pulling from here are both kits from 2016, and then there are some new components here. That this tray is from 2021. This sprue is from 2021. So some of the weapons are new, and some of these pieces are like in new colors. But most of these are from 2016, which is certainly by far not the oldest kit that has been repurposed for this line. Because some of those kits, they're like 2008, and like and it's just like, oh. The Blazing Gundam, which is the it's the God Gundam, sister kit, is a 2008 kit, and then there's like a couple, like 2 new pieces. It's just like, ooh, that's an old kit. I was still happy to build it because one of the new pieces is the clear foot, because instead of having shining fingers, it's got a burning foot, and that's just very silly. It doesn't have burning toes, which because they're cowards. They could have done burning toes. That would have been very weird if they did that. Maybe I'm glad they didn't do that. All right, we got some time left on the stream. We're gonna go till a little before 11 p.m. That's generally when we wrap up here, so we can chat about a few things we got because we're done with the anime and manga talk. Video game wise, I will tell you that I just finished. I played it this weekend was reading many chapters of The Great Mage Returns After 4,000 Years and playing the not that actually long game of The Forgotten City, which was of all of people's like lists. Like obviously not everyone did end of the year lists. Some of them are doing them now or this month, but the list that came out in December of games lists, the thing that stood out to me the most of, ooh, this is a thing that I actually want to play is The Forgotten City. It is my second time loop game that I played this year because I played Deathloop of 2021 because I played Deathloop as well. It's a couple hours to play. I'm not going to get too into spoilers and stuff like that because it is only like 4.5 to 6 hours of gameplay. I played through Forgotten City this weekend too. Nice, Riskevent. It is totally worth your time. Basically, you end up in a fucking time loop in like an ancient Roman city, and you are not an ancient Roman, and you are trying to figure out what the fuck's going on and figure out how to get back there and asking questions of people and doing whatever, and then like causing problems that lead to your death. And it is a whole thing, and it is, I think, really engaging and really interesting. I do recommend it. I do think that it is worth your time. I gotta head out, but it was super fun chat. Thanks, Pat. Have a good night. You have a great night too. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think it's totally worth your time and totally cool. Let's see. Is there anything about Forgotten City that I want to say? Oh, I love that it's a video game that started off as a Skyrim mod and still feels like a bit like like there are still Skyrim vibes to it. It does feel like a mod for a Bethesda game. Like it's got that kind of vibe of just like, I don't know, some of the UI, some of the like character design, still it feels like they're like, look, we're making this more than like this is going to be a thing you can just play. It's not a Skyrim mod anymore, but also like it feels like it still lives in its roots, and I really like that. I really like that vibe. Um, yeah, there's a particular part that was very Skyrim. Yeah, I just like what comes up when you want to steal stuff. If you want to steal stuff, just feels very Skyrim. Um, I don't know. I appreciate that. Also, they made a cool game. This dude and then a few people he got to help him along the way. Made a very cool game. So that's the Forgotten City, and I would recommend it. Also, I played a lot of fucking Halo. Halo was really good. And Halo is still very good. Multiplayer is still really fun. I still recommend Halo. If you haven't checked it out, the multiplayer is free. It's sometimes kind of fucked. But for the most part, very good. Um, Also, I will talk about awesome games done quick. I was going to talk about that in the first hour, and then I talked about the history of the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater and my time there, which I don't regret doing because that was fun to talk about. But I didn't talk about. So I haven't watched a lot of AGDQ. I will tell you that the number one run that I have not seen yet that I want to see very badly is Chicory. Have not seen Chicory yet. I do want to see that. I hear that's a very good speed run, and that was one of my favorite games of 2021. So I would like to see the speed run. The three that I will mention here are all available on their YouTube channel, so you don't have to go and find the like Twitch video link. You can just watch them on YouTube. The three that I would suggest that you check out are Metroid Prime Hunters, which was, I believe, like the first run of the stream. The dude, it's an hour and 20 minutes, and the person that ran it really knows their stuff. He certainly knows what he's talking about, and he was an entertaining runner. They're not in person. This is a digital event. So if you're like, check that. So I would still say check that out. Deathloop. in 26 minutes and 46 seconds. And they had the game crash like 18 minutes in, so they would have the runner could have done it even sooner, but the game crashed and had to like restart it, which apparently happens occasionally in this run because some of it is just broken. That run is really great. To me, it's bizarre that they can do it. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, I can't wait to see that in a few years when they've optimized it even more and just made discoveries and all that. But right now, it's like under 27 minutes for that game, which I still think is fucking rad. Uh, Also, the lean clipping could probably just be good in a regular run. It doesn't seem like, look, I can't say for sure that that's not super hard to do because I don't know, but it didn't look particularly difficult as to like lean and you can just get around some objects. That didn't seem like too tough. They made it seem like it wasn't the hardest thing. Um, and then also there's a Mega Man 2 run, and like, look, that's 27 minutes to do all of Mega Man 2. Mega Man 2 just continues to be a great game. It's my second favorite Mega Man game after 3. And it's a fun run to watch. Like, there's nothing like extraordinary about it. It's just fun. So I would recommend those 3. They're all on their YouTube. There'll be more as it goes on. They keep putting stuff up there, so you can check that out on the GDQ YouTube channel. The game's done quick. I would recommend that because I do think that it is worth your time. Has anybody been watching anything on Awesome Games Done Quick? If you have any recommendations for runs you saw that you liked, let me know. I tend to not watch it live. I tend to watch the YouTube ones I'm interested in after the fact, because also then I can see on Twitter if people are like very mad at a streamer or a runner or something to that effect, because that certainly happens. It's been better. The fact that it is not in front of an audience, that is live, but it is live streaming, has certainly decreased the amount of like assholery. It seems like, but Also, if I watch it later on YouTube, I won't see chat at all. I won't even be like accidentally see chat. So I do recommend that. I never really watch AGDQ except like Awful Block or the TaskBot stuff. Okay, yeah. I mean, Awful Block is always good. I do enjoy watching those. I really like because the Awful Block stuff comes up and it's like some video game I've never heard of. 7 minutes, 28 seconds. And I'm like, ooh, this is going to be good. That's a 7-minute run. That's going to be a garbage, broken game. Because sometimes they run bad games that take like forever to play, but often the bad games are the ones they have broken in interesting ways. So you get to really see how broken that shit is. So I do like that. I hear you. But yeah, I often just go back and watch this stuff. So yeah, I will take recommendations. Also, we got a couple minutes left. Is there anything y'all are checking out, you're watching, that you're interested in? You can let me know in the chat. I always like hearing from you. Stuff that you're playing, you're watching, recommendations you have for things that I should be checking out. Is there any video game that you're playing because it was on some people's game of the year's list, or game of the year lists, and you're like, oh well, now I'm checking this out because people were talking about it. Feel free to let me know in chat, or you can just continue to be chill and lurk. Lurking is also fine. I don't have a command for lurk. I should get a command for lurk, because every once in a while people who come in here and they want to they do the exclamation point lurk, and I don't have anything for them. I should at some point do that. I should have like a couple commands. Like I should have like a Twitter command in case you want to follow me on Twitter, like that. I should do all that stuff, and I haven't. I just have the random one for when I do the Pokemon randomizer. Oh, but here's something we can do for the last couple of minutes. Well, we'll see if anybody wants to type anything. I will see what won my poll. What am I playing on Wednesday? Once a month, my $3, $5, and $10 patrons vote on what I'm going to play on stream. And winning by a large margin, I am playing Jackbox Party Pack 8 this Wednesday. We're going to focus on 8 because I like 8. Because it's the newest one, and I paid for it, so I might as well play that one and get my money's worth. So we're checking out Jackbox Party Pack 8 this coming Wednesday. So come in for some job, and maybe wheel, and maybe or the drawing. We did wheel last time. We're gonna do job. Job is my favorite one of the new ones. So, and that actually takes a little while. So we'll play Job Job, and then maybe we'll do the Drawful Animate because we haven't done that in a while. The only thing I watched is Knives Out, which is still very good. Lord Crashton, you're not wrong. There's no lie in your statement. Knives Out is good. Cool. I'm glad you watched that. All right, we're gonna get part of these legs done, and then we're gonna call it quits. I want to get a little bit of this legs done, but we'll get a little of that. We made some very good progress in the kit. We did both arms. We finished the head up. We got the feet done. We're getting some of the leg together here. Not a lot of it, but we're getting some. And we'll keep going on this. My assumption is I will wrap this kit up on Thursday, which is the next build stream, but maybe the very end of it, because I feel like this backpack is probably gonna take a hot minute to put together here, and the weapons and all that, and I'll need the stand for this kit. So we actually probably won't finish this till during Saturday's stream, like during that stream. So I'll have a new poll up soon for my $10 patrons, because they get to decide what I build next, unless something comes in from my wish list, because obviously that wins out. So we'll see. But yeah, again, I don't know what'll win the next poll, but I'm trying to get through all these battle kits, these Gundam Breaker battle kits, because I got a bunch of these battle kits. Because eventually, once I'm done with all of them, then I can come do the kit bashing, the recommended kit bashing, and I will do that. And I haven't decided if that's going to be a stream, its own stream, where I'm just like all of the kit bashing, and I'll just go through all of them, or if it's going to be its own dedicated like YouTube video. I think I might stream that. I just might stream a good kit bash sesh, because I think that would be fun to do. Just like slowly go through all of them and do the recommended. Just end up with a big mess of parts that I'm like, oh, I gotta get this thing. I'm gonna disassemble it. Take like 1,000 photos of all of them. My assumption is that the kit bashing doesn't ask for duplicates. So you don't have to like take a. So it's like, well, if I do the kit bash that's recommended in the Live Lance Heaven, then I can't do the one that's recommended in the Burning Gundam. And I'll be like, so hopefully they allow that. You see the news? How about the LAPD cops? They got fired because they were hunting Snorlax in Pokemon Go instead of responding to a robbery. Yes, Lord Crashington. That is what it takes to be disciplined in the LA Police Department, is, playing Pokemon Go instead of going to a robbery, to dealing with that, responding to a call for, with a robbery that is happening. Instead, you are playing. Look, hey, I get it, right? Look, I got a Snorlax. I run into Snorlax enough, but like, I understand there's parts of this country where it's hard to find a Snorlax. But I did see that, and it does suck ass, in general. It does suck. So I was like, oh, well, fuck that. I don't think there's a Pokemon that if I saw, I'd be like, I am going to avoid my work to go deal with that. Who knows? I used to sometimes take the long way home from work in New York, because there was a different route a longer route to my subway stop that passed more Pokemon stops. So I would sometimes do that, but that is the only thing remotely connecting me to that bullshit. Anyway, we're going to call it quits here. We did really good progress here on this kit. We got some of the leg parts done. We got all the upper part of the kit done. Again, I think Thursday we're going to get very close to finishing, but we won't actually finish on Thursday, but maybe we will. So I will put up a poll for my, probably on Wednesday, I'll put up a poll for my $10 patrons about what I should build next. But anyway, what we're going to do now is we're going to go on a raid. It's going to be a raid, just like Bad Gunpla raided us, which was so nice. Jason do that. We're going to go raid somebody who I think rules. Will they be a model kit builder? Maybe. I don't know. But I'll find out. At the very least, it'll be someone I know who I think is cool and who has a cool community of people that I also like. Because I don't send you in to weird shit. I mean, sometimes their streams are weird, but the people aren't weird. That's what I was trying to say. Let's see. Hey, Mary Kish is streaming the Gunk, so we're gonna go raid Mary because she's streaming the Gunk, and also Mary rules, and the Gunk is fun. So yeah, we're gonna go raid Ms. Kish. Mary's community is awesome. If you don't know Mary, she's great. So we're gonna do that. So here is Mary's thing. Let's get that up. Once again, my next stream is this coming Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. I will be playing Jackbox Party Pack 8 with you. So come hang out, play some games with me. That'll be fun. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you on the next Build with Baer. And thanks for everybody that came by. Have a great night. Good night. And goodbye. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.